Hello and welcome to Barbara's podcast. This is the show for women, all about health, nutrition, and wellness. It's the show that will empower you and inspire you to create a healthier lifestyle.
Well, hello and welcome. I'm Barbara Carafocus, and I'm excited to introduce Gaylene, who is a nutrition and wellness coach and supports women who want to have more energy and lose unwanted weight. So welcome, Gaylene.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Well, Gaylene, can you share your journey into becoming a nutrition and wellness coach and what inspired you to help others with their health?
Thank you. I think a lot of health coaches or nutrition coaches have been through their own health journey to some extent that has created us to immerse ourselves in this world. And that was the same for myself. I had been really struggling with my health, and so many doctors and people and specialists would say, there's nothing wrong with me, or everything's fine, or, just get more rest if you're that tired. And I knew deep inside there was something bigger going on. And for me, it was definitely all happening in my gut. There's a lot of foods that would make me really sick or make me have stomach pain or make me just want to crawl in bed. And I started learning more about nutrition just for myself. And it really led me down this entire trail where I ended up going to school to study nutrition. But as I was learning and studying and reading, I kept saying to my husband, everybody needs to know this stuff. There are so many things about our health that are mixed information either out there on the internet, and this is many years ago now. So before there was, so much out there, but there was still so much mixed messaging in the media, in diets, in weight loss products, in just what was being told to women. And when we really get down to what's going on in our body and the science behind it, it's fascinating. And I think it's really important that everybody knows. So even though I was learning for myself and trying to create health inside me and heal myself, it was something that I was really passionate about sharing and making sure other women that are suffering in their health are not having to go through so much, right? I ended up having to go back to school, into nutrition school, and study and learn all of this just to make sure that I felt like I was getting the right information. And I feel like everybody should know this. And so I created my business to educate and motivate and help women get off of that fad diet roller coaster and really learn about the proper health foundations that are going to lead us towards better health. And so that's kind of a long-winded answer to your question, but it's a journey, right? It's a journey over time that I learned more. I wanted to share more, and the best way to do it was let's create a business around it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We share that. We have that in common.
Yeah.
That's how I started my journey. I was reading nutrition for myself. It became a passion, and I wanted to share it and, help and change other people's lives for the better, improve their health.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many little things that make a big difference when often, like I said, we're being promoted with these massive overhauls. Women are restricting themselves with calories and points and all of these different things. And it doesn't have to be that hard. There's a lot of really simple things we can do that make a big difference when it comes to our health. And I feel like we should at least be doing all of these things first. And then if we need further, investigation or support or deep diving, that can come later. But basic nutrition is lacking in much of our culture, unfortunately. And so that's a really big goal of mine, is to spread the word of wellness and help women really feel empowered to prioritize their health, get rid of that guilt and get rid of that shame and get rid of that pressure around what food and diet seems to be, and really start to enjoy what we're putting in our body and feel good in our body while we do it.
Unfortunately, there's so much misinformation out there. You see it every day and you read about it every day and you think, oh my goodness, and it's just clickbait.
A lot of it is. There's so many different diets. I get emails all the time. What do you think about this? And do you think I should try that one? And maybe what about this one? My friend said this worked for her. Maybe I should give this a go. And you're right. There's a lot of clickbait. There's a lot of money in these diets. And so when there's money being spent on the marketing, a lot of women see this as the best thing. But if there was only one diet that worked for everybody, there would really only be one diet, right? If there was one thing that consistently worked for every single woman out there, there wouldn't be all of these different variety of shakes and pills and exercises and eating plans. And there is a lot of mixed information for sure.
Absolutely. So with many people struggling with finding balance in their health, what are some of the simple lifestyle changes you recommend to clients who feel overwhelmed?
Yeah. Again, I do believe that, the nutrition is absolutely important, but there's also some other lifestyle things that we need to have in place for the nutrition to even work properly. So I work with my clients on 4 main pillars of health. And so the first piece of the puzzle absolutely is nutrition, but it's more about nourishing our body. It's what we're putting in our body as far as vitamins and minerals and nutrients and making sure we're fueling our body with the things we need to thrive. So it's not about cutting things out. It's let's pour more good food in. So that is a foundational piece. And I encourage my clients to eat a variety of food. And of course, there's much more in-depth conversation we could have around that. But that's the first piece of the puzzle is let's add more good food into as a start. And then we need to look outside of what's on our plate. There's a couple other pieces that I've really noticed over the years make a really big difference for my clients. So the second one is movement, and it's actually getting exercise, getting our blood pumping, getting our heart going, actually moving our body. I sit at my desk many hours a day, and I know a lot of other women that do, maybe you do too, Barbara, is we're behind our computers a lot, and we need to get up and move our body. We need to get that regular exercise in. I work with women that have low energy, and oftentimes the more tired and sluggish we get, the harder it gets to want to do exercise. But whenever you go for that walk or you go for a workout, rarely do we come back and say, I'm even more tired. 9 times out of 10, we come back saying, I have more energy. That felt good. My body feels better. And so I really encourage women to get some good exercise in.
Yeah, we do feel better, and I think I can say we feel mentally better. We feel happier because of the endorphins rushing through our bodies.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's a big piece of the puzzle. When we're just looking at diet alone, we're missing out on these other pieces. The next one is just as big, and it's sleep. When women are saying, I'm so tired, or I want to lose weight, or, I tried this diet and it didn't work for me, then I ask them how much they're sleeping, and they'll say, why does that matter? But it matters because if we're not getting a good night's sleep, we're not waking up to go to the gym or cook that healthy meal. Or if we're not getting a good night's sleep, then maybe at 2 or 3 in the afternoon, we're more likely to turn to caffeine and sugar to fuel our body to have enough energy to get through the rest of the day. So there's all kinds of bodily functions that happen at night while we're sleeping. And it's so important that they happen. And if they don't, you can eat all the healthy food in the world, but if you're not getting enough sleep, the health isn't going to be there. And then pillar 4 is something you just touched on, and it's the mindset, the stress, the mental health. If we are stressed out, then again, a good diet is not going to stick. If you're really stressed out, you're not going to stick to that really clean eating, healthy diet. We're going to be craving comfort food or eating what's simple or grabbing things on the go when we're really busy or ordering takeout or whatever. If we're really stressed out and we're not in a good place in our head, the other things don't work either. And so those are the 4 pillars that we work on, and they're all interconnected.
Absolutely. So, there are so many things which affect our health. Our environments as well, the toxins that surround us, the water that we drink. I agree with you that sleep is so important. There was a study done as well that if you don't sleep enough, you don't have your willpower is less the next day as well. So you curb into cravings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. If you think about being tired and then maybe work in an office, you probably didn't pack a healthy lunch. So you're going to go grab something quick and easy at, the coffee shop, or maybe on the way to work in the morning, you're going to grab a coffee and a donut because that's what's simple, or in the afternoon you're looking in the vending machine to see what you can eat. Our body knows when it needs fuel. And oftentimes if we're tired, it's looking for that sugar or simple carb or something that's going to give us that quick fix that's maybe not the best choice long term. Now, once in a while that happens, absolutely. But if that is our consistent every day of the week, then we're not setting ourselves up for long-term health.
No. And it just gets your blood sugar out of whack as well if you're eating those types of foods. You know, you get onto that roller coaster of the highs and the lows.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a cycle, and we need to get off of that roller coaster and really start building out some healthy foundations. So these foundations of including good sleep and regular exercise and stress management techniques, and load our plate with all those nutrients that we talked about earlier as well.
Yeah. So are there any common challenges that your clients face when trying to lose unwanted weight, and how do you help them overcome those obstacles?
Yeah, absolutely. There's always going to be challenges, and I think that's fair, right? We're never going to live a perfect, simple, easy life where doing an overhaul of our health is just going to fall into place. There's always going to be, you know, work things going on. I have a client who works in an office that it's quite a large office, and it's always somebody's birthday. So there's always somebody bringing in pastries or cake or treats or candy or something. They celebrate every holiday, they celebrate every birthday. So in their break room, the staff room, there's
I thought it
always
was in
food.
Cyprus. They have a similar problem here.
Yeah. And so that's that is a common concern where a lot of women can have. And if they say no, then people will say, oh, you're on another diet.
Yeah.
And so it's their mindset then that's also hard. And so I want my clients to be able to enjoy life, enjoy, celebrations and good food, but turn it around. So what this client did was actually start creating a group of women in the office who were really working on doing this together, and they started learning how to cook healthier things or supply the break room with healthier options. They started doing potlucks on their lunch break where they would each bring in different things or rotate days to help feed the group, and they all kind of chimed in to try and turn the culture around. They can still enjoy everything, but it wasn't just full of a box of cupcakes all the time. And so the mindset piece is definitely a big piece of the puzzle. And so I encourage my clients to have the conversation with their family or their friends and say, look, this is not another diet. I am actually now committed to really learning about my health properly. And I want to make some changes that are going to make me a better mom, wife, friend, whatever it is. And so a lot of times it is the pressure from family or friends saying, oh, you're on yet another diet. Oh, it's stressful when you go out with your partner for a meal and the one person is just like, I'm just going to have salad, right? I'm just going to have this little bit of salad. And so it's education of, well, there's lots of things in a restaurant we can eat. Maybe it's going to be looking at a menu before you go. Maybe it's learning how to create a balanced plate and look for healthier, like whole carbs and proteins, and what can you put on a plate? Maybe it's choosing a different restaurant. And so a lot of the problems aren't really problems if we look for a way to fix it. It's just the normal way of dealing with the problems might have to change. And so it's really figuring out what are your main goals? What is your not just number on the scale goal? Maybe the goal is to lose 10 pounds or 20 pounds or 50 pounds or whatever it is. So not just that goal, but getting down to the root of your why and thinking about what do you want to actually create for your life? And when it comes down to it, most of my clients want more energy so that they can live their life to the fullest. They can enjoy date nights and parties with friends and hanging out with their kids and doing all the things. And so then it's taking their why and figuring out their goals and building out a personalized plan that's going to help them get there. Enjoy your life without all that guilt and shame of saying no to everything, but let's actually create a new path and a new direction for you to go with your health that doesn't feel hard or full of guilt and shame.
Yeah. Moderation versus deprivation.
Yeah. If we're generally eating healthy most of the time, you could say that 80-20 rule, If we're generally eating healthy most of the time, then absolutely enjoy some dessert tonight, or a glass of wine, or a birthday cake, or whatever it is. If we're generally treating our body well, it can handle a little bit of random things. But if we're generally drained of energy and eating crap food, then we need to turn that shift around. And so we need to make the main focus on taking really good care of our body so that, one night of staying up late doesn't make as big of a difference, or one night of, eating pizza and pop and ice cream and all of that at a kid's birthday party, it doesn't make that much of a difference. But if we were to do that every day, it does make a difference.
It does make a difference.
Yeah.
And you do feel bad.
Yeah.
Your body does start to react,
Yeah, absolutely.
So, are there any long-term sustainable health habits? What would be your top 3 pieces of advice?
I think that it's going to be really figuring out what works for you. So, main piece of advice is to not take all the advice that you hear online, because when we're trying to implement all the things, it can be really overwhelming. So figure out what is that very best next step for you. I have a quiz that I do with my clients, and maybe Barbara, you can share this with your community, but it actually takes you through a quiz of these 4 pillars to figure out what is that best next step for you. Because I could say, drink more water, get more exercise, and go to bed early tonight, and eat this and don't eat that. But that just leaves us with overwhelm. And so the best next step is to figure out what you personally need to shift, and then really prioritize doing that.
That's a great answer, because we're not all the same, and we don't all have the same needs or life.
Yeah. We don't have the same life, or, maybe whoever lives in our house doesn't like the same food, or we work different hours, or shift work, or have picky kids, or whatever it is. And so when we think about what is the best next step for me, it's going to be a little bit different than the next person. And so really figuring out what works for you. And that's another reason why I feel a lot of those diets don't work, is because it is mass marketed of here's the one thing that works. And then women feel really hurt and upset when it doesn't work for them. But maybe their hormones are in, some different state. Maybe they have different gut stuff going on in their digestive system. We're all unique. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, in closing, where can our listeners get in touch with you?
Yeah, so I'm online. I'm everywhere you're looking. My website is compassrosenutrition.ca. I'm in Canada, so it's .ca at the end. And when you go to my website, you'll find access to that quiz that I mentioned. There's a link there to join my Facebook group. You can connect with me. I have coaching programs available. I work with women in both group and private coaching, and so there's some options there on my website for that. And if you fill out the quiz, you'll get an email from me with a personalized plan of your results, and then hit reply to the email, and that's how you can connect with me directly if you want further support.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you, Gaylene, for sharing your expertise and insights with us today. It's been an absolute pleasure having you as my guest.
Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure.
Thanks for listening to Barbara's podcast. Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter or e-courses. Celebrate life, and see you at the next episode.